I got involved with the biggest human organ trafficking gang on the dark web.
You won't believe who's behind it.
Please tell me in the comments if there is something wrong with the story that makes the interaction so low. Thank you. Let's begin.
For a while, my laptop had been freezing and stalling, driving me crazy.
I couldn't get it to work at all.
But unfortunately, I hadn't been able to go up to the IT or technical support department to have them look at the problem, because I was so stressed with work and had so many projects.
The first chance I got, I took my laptop and went up to their office. When I got there, I found Jack. Jack had just been hired about a month ago.
I had spoken with him once or twice.
He was a nice, respectful person, and what I'd heard was that he was very good at his job.
I found him and Mark standing there, glued to the computer screen.
Mark worked in HR at the same company.
They were so focused on the screen that they didn't even notice me when I entered the office.
I heard Jack say to Mark, "Don't worry, this is guaranteed.
I'll vouch for it, and most of my friends are already in on it."
Just look at the devices themselves, Mark replied. Honestly, I don't understand much. Jack said, if we do this farm, we'll make a fortune. That's when I walked in and said, "What kind of farm, guys?"
Are you planning on raising chickens?
The two of them looked at me and said, "What do you think, Liam?
Want to join us in this?"
I told them, "No, guys, I'm not into farms and constant monitoring." Jack looked at me and laughed. "This isn't an animal farm. This is a Bitcoin farm," I asked. "Bitcoin?
Isn't that the currency they use on the dark web?"
Jack looked at me and said, "Well, it's true that the dark web uses Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean Bitcoin was made only for it.
All of Europe and America use Bitcoin for everything, you know. The idea of mining is that you get a computer, and the computer connects to a platform and solves complex equations and algorithms.
In return, it gives you Bitcoin." So I asked, so I could just connect my home computer to that platform and leave it on for 24 hours, and it will make me Bitcoin?
He laughed and said, "No, your home computer is just for playing games."
"It won't get you anything," I said. "It won't get me anything. What do you need then?"
He told me, "Come take a look." He opened his computer and showed me strange, complicated devices that looked nothing like normal computers.
They were very complex, and I didn't understand anything about them.
It was a lot of specs.
This was not a regular computer.
It was something else entirely. I asked, "What is this, Jack?" He said, "These are devices we buy to do Bitcoin mining, but they have high specs, so very high specifications. We'll get a few devices and make a Bitcoin farm, and that will make us a huge amount of money." I said, "Jack, these things look expensive."
"How much are they?" He started calculating for me and said, "Look, we'll need maybe 4 of these and 3 of those.
We'll need power supplies and other things, and we'll still need to rent an apartment and put high-powered air conditioners in it." He said, "It's a whole thing." He calculated it with a pen and paper and said, "It'll cost us about $150,000. I said, $150,000, he said. "Keep in mind, this is a small farm, not a big one." I asked him, "So will this bring in good profits for someone to invest in it and pay $150,000? He told me, "Look, all I can tell you is that the $150,000 you pay will come back to you in 5 months, and after that, everything you get will be pure profit." At that moment, I got lost in thought. $150,000 in 5 months, that was unbelievable.
It meant I could become very rich in a short amount of time, in 3 or 4 years.
At that moment, I completely forgot about the broken laptop I had brought to him and everything else. I put the laptop aside and asked, "So what will our role be in this farm business?" He said, "Nothing at all.
The money will be split between me, you, and Mark. The $150,000 will be divided among 3 of us.
After that, I'll be the one to do all the assembly, and you guys will just help me." I asked him, "Help you with what?" He said, "Don't worry about it. I won't ask you to do anything you don't know how to."
I said, "Okay, well, I'm in for now," he said. "Are you sure?"
I said, "Yes, I'm sure I'm in." He said, "So you have the money ready?"
I said, "No, I have part of it, and I can take a loan for the rest." We agreed that in 2 months, I would give him all the money, and we would start our project.
Jack told us he would buy the devices from Tokyo, and that he would receive them in exactly 1 month.
During that month, we had to rent an apartment and get it ready by putting in powerful air conditioning units, because the devices get very hot, and if they overheat, they might burn out.
Of course, we didn't understand anything. So whatever Jack told us to do, we would just say, okay, whatever you want, whatever you think is best. We actually went and rented the apartment and put in the air conditioners, and everything was fine.
But unfortunately, the devices were severely delayed at the port, and we received them 2 months later. It was a struggle to get them.
On the day we received them, we took all the devices and went up to the apartment and brought them all in. Jack started opening the boxes to assemble them, but when I looked at the devices, I said, Jack, these devices are different from the ones you showed us online.
He told us, no, don't worry about it. They're the same devices, but these are even more powerful and for the same price. Don't worry, this is even better. We started helping him unpack the boxes and take out the rest of the devices and helped him assemble them. Once we finished the assembly, he started connecting 2 large screens and put them on the desk, connected to all the devices. Then he started the setup.
Jack worked on the setup for 2 days, installing their own system, which, of course, wasn't like Windows or the things we know. He was typing strange codes and things that none of us understood. In general, it was 2 large screens connected to all of these devices, and he was switching between the devices using only the keyboard and mouse.
We, of course, were sitting next to Jack as if we were watching the news in Chinese. Nobody understood a thing.
At the very end, after 2 days, he told us it's done.
We've started the mining now, of course. We celebrated and couldn't believe it was finally over.
Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell button to receive all that is new and wait for the next parts and stories. Thank you to everyone who supports me. Goodbye.